All right, welcome to Crush It, the workshop. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm so excited that you ladies are on here with me. Can you see my Crush It page? Yes. Okay, good. Good. That means we're doing something right. Well, today we're going to talk about how to crush it, and this is going to be a little bit of a workshop. And I really want to cover the topic of purpose. And so I have named this workshop 3 steps to unleash your purpose and make your mark on the world. Hey, Eunice.
Hi.
How are you? Good to see you. So, I am very passionate about purpose because purpose really changed my life. And so if you're on this call today, I know that there's something that spoke to you and you really are ready to crush it. And you are most likely in one of 5 stages if you're on here, because I wrote a book called Summoned to Soar, the 5 Stages of the Rise of a Woman. And those stages mimic the stages of a caterpillar to a butterfly. And so, if you're here today, you're at one of these 5 stages. And I named these stages. The first stage I named the ordinary. Hi, Angela.
Hi.
Hi. I like your name. So if, as I was saying, if you're here today, you're at one of these 5 stages. And so these stages, they mimic the stages of a caterpillar going to a butterfly. And so the first stage is the ordinary. And, the caterpillar, if you're in the ordinary, so you may feel like you're stuck on the hamster wheel of life. And life feels ordinary, but there are dreams of an extraordinary impact that keep you awake at night. This is where I was. I knew that I had a call on my life to do big things, to minister to women and to mentor women, but I was stuck in an ordinary life. And I was just, I had no confidence. My self-esteem was not very good at all. And, the caterpillar has beady little eyes. And, as a woman, I felt when I was in the ordinary, I felt so much like the caterpillar because I could only see what was right in front of me, like just getting by day to day. But something happened along the way. I decided to surrender to the cocoon. And I'm going to tell you something really extraordinary in just a minute. But this is where you may find yourself in stage 2, and that's the cave. And that's, the cave and the grave, or the cocoon. That's where you're in the cocoon, and the cave and the grave can feel very much the same. And the cave can feel very much like a dark, lonely place. And, maybe you feel misunderstood. Maybe you feel like it's just, maybe you've been going through the dark night of your soul. And that's what I went through. My world got turned upside down. I was a pastor's wife. I was making a big impact. I was busy doing great things, but I didn't know who I was, why I was here, or what I was here to do. And my world got turned upside down, and I went through the dark night of my soul. And I went from literally living in a beautiful ranch to living on the floor of an apartment with my kids. I went from first lady of the church to standing in the food stamp line. And so when I tell you that my world got turned upside down, if you've ever been through that type of situation, my world got turned upside down. Hi, Therese. And, but something interesting is that I realized that I was not called to stay in the cocoon. Something inside of me was just wooing me to endure the process that was really trying to be unleashed within me. And so the third stage is what I call the becoming. And this is where, just like the caterpillar has surrendered to the cocoon, this is where the metamorphosis begins to happen. And a lot of times we get to this point where we feel called to let go of the woman that we become, to become the woman that we were created to be. But it's so scary to go in the cocoon, right? It's so scary to let go of that old identity. But I surrendered to the process. And I've got to tell you, if you've ever heard me speak, you've heard this before, but the caterpillar does not turn into the cocoon. The caterpillar does not turn into the butterfly. The DNA of the caterpillar, let me slow down because I'm getting all mixed up here. The DNA of the butterfly is trapped inside of the caterpillar. And the caterpillar has to go in the cocoon and literally turn into liquid goo. Enzymes are released that turn her into what they call pupa soup. And so you may have been through a season of your life where your world does not look anything like it used to. Maybe you said things like, I used to be so confident. I don't know what happened. Or like everything was going great. And then my world got turned upside down. And now I just keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. And so this is what happens to us as women. We go through something that woos us into the cocoon. But if your world gets turned upside down, I want to tell you that you've been perfectly positioned for transformation. And so, but it's when we avoid the transformation, that's when our problems happen. That's when we suffer emotionally and we second guess ourselves and we beat ourselves up, and because you're meant for more. And then the fourth stage is the debut, and you might find yourself in the debut today. And that is where, as a woman, that you have endured the process of transformation. You've endured the dark night of your soul. You have withstood the test of time, and you said, I'm going to become the best version of who I was created to be. And you are ready to break out of the cocoon and soar. If that's you, then you may be ready to step into the next season of your life that is literally going to be the best season of your life. But you may be still feeling like, I'm afraid what people are going to say about me. I'm afraid I'm going to be judged and all the things. And then we come to stage 5. And I believe that every woman has been called to live in the rise. And this is where you are making your greatest impact. This is where your ashes have been turned to beauty. And this is where you literally step into, like Queen Esther, we'll talk about her in a minute, you step into your for such a time as this. And so this is, I type in the chat, I would love to know from you, like, what stage do you feel like you're in? My guess is if you're on this call, you're probably somewhere between stage 3 and 4. But type it in the chat, let me know, what stage do you feel like you're in today? Okay, so if we haven't met yet officially, my name is Angela Aja. I am a best-selling author. I'm a transformational life coach. I'm an author coach. I help women tell their stories and turn their message into a memoir and use that message to create a movement. Just women who really want to make a big impact. Good. Stage 4, stage 5. Oh man, lots of stage 4s. That's awesome. That is wonderful. And so today, let's see here. So I am a little bit more about me. I am a mama of 5 sweet little babies. I have 4 kids, and I am I'm single, and I call myself a glamma looking for her grandpa. So anyway, but I'm enjoying life where I'm at, and my passion is really to help women use their wings and soar. And so I have just some steps that I want to share with you today, really how to unleash your purpose and make your mark on the world. This is my absolute passion, is to help women do this right here. This is what you've been called to do. And so, whoops, let me go back. Missed a slide here. So, if you're here today, you probably have felt like Adonis, right? Like you carry the weight of the world on your shoulders and you look good doing it. You're probably everyone's go-to. You are a problem solver, you're a high achieving woman, and you probably make things happen, and you're a go-to person. On the outside, you're people see you as Superwoman. You're the go-to fixer. You're the strong one. And you look like you have it all together. You volunteer, you serve, and you give, and you take care of everyone else. Can anybody relate? Just wave at me. I can see your faces. Wave at me if you relate to that. Yes. And so, if you're on here, you are a kind-hearted, giving woman. But the problem is, when you lay your head on the pillow at night, who takes care of you? And I found that this is the biggest gap that we have as women, is that we're so busy worrying about everyone else's happiness that we can easily lose our joy. We end up taking care of everyone else, running around, fixing everyone's problems, doing it all. And, but we end up pouring from an empty cup. And so, it's easy for us as high achieving women who are in stage 4, most likely, it's easy for us to get what I call a bad case of the uns and the overs. And this is where I was living. I was unsure about my purpose. I was busy doing good things, but I wasn't being intentional. I wasn't sure about my purpose. I wasn't sure about really what my message was to the world. And I believe that every woman has a message to bring to the world. And my coach used to say to me, she used to say, someone is crying themselves to sleep at night waiting to hear from you. And I believe that about you also. I believe that you have something very powerful that you've been called here to do. You have a message to speak, a song to sing, a poem to write, something. But when we're so busy taking care of everyone else, then we end up, we can feel unfulfilled, even though we have chronic busyness, right? Anybody chronically busy on here? Yeah. And so you may feel, you may be unemotionally unavailable emotionally to the ones that matter the most to you because you're so busy, and then you're exhausted when it comes to them. You may feel unappreciated, unrecognized, unheard. But the bottom line is that you're probably busy over-serving, over-giving, over-delivering, overcompensating, and ultimately overwhelmed. And I know this because this is where I was. And this is the result of just not being intentional. And, I was exhausted, and I wasn't being as effective as I wanted to be. And ultimately, I just felt unfulfilled. If that's where you're at, I want you to know that I see you, I understand you, and you are meant for more. Your dreams and desires were not given to you on accident. These are not just things that you've made up. I believe that your dreams and desires are linked to your purpose, your passion, your potential. They're linked to every part of you, your personality. And I really believe that you are meant to soar. So I'm going to go through just a few steps here that I want to give you, but I also, in just a minute, if you'll hang with me, we're going to do a super powerful exercise because I want you to walk away feeling like you have you've had a powerful transformation today, and that I want to be the wind beneath your wings as that beautiful butterfly that you are. I want to be the wind beneath your wings today. And that might sound corny, but that is my deepest desire. I want you to walk away feeling pumped up and fueled and ready to step into the best season of your life. So I found that a lot of women, a lot of times we're motivated by fear. Sometimes, a lot of the women I've worked with, maybe they're afraid of failure. Sometimes we're afraid of success. Sometimes we're afraid of the future. Sometimes we're afraid of repeating the past. Sometimes we're afraid of being judged. Like, if we show up in our true brilliance, are we going to be judged? That was a huge, huge fear of mine. You might be afraid of what other people think. You might be afraid of letting other people down, or being afraid of being hurt again. Or, are your kids going to suffer? You might be afraid of letting your light shine a little bit brighter, and showing up more powerfully in the world, or maybe you're afraid of being too quiet. But here's what I'm looking for is I'm looking for women who are afraid of staying the same. This is what drove me to rise, is that I was more afraid of staying the same than I was afraid of anything else. And along the way, I found my message, and that came out of my purpose, and my message became bigger than my fears. And that's why I can show up powerfully, and soar. And so type in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. What would you say what are maybe one or two of like the biggest fears that you have? And the fear that stops you. And this is not a part of my my presentation, but I just want to say to you that if you've had fear, if you've had a secret fear that has been stopping you from really stepping into the rise and making your greatest impact, I want you to know that fear is just faith for the negative. And so if you've had fear, you are a woman of faith. You have great faith, which is incredible. When you just begin to direct it in a different way, you're going to see powerful results. And so let me just see here. Fear of failure, fear of repeating the past, afraid of success. Yes. So good. Yeah. Not exceeding my expectations, afraid of failure, all the things, right? But I want to, I want you to know, that, if those fears have been stopping you, there is a way for you fear is just misdirected faith. And you can get your faith directed in the right direction, and it can begin to work for you instead of against you. When it comes to fear of failure, fear of success, fear of failure, all the things, it's all around your purpose. It ultimately, when you boil it down, it's, am I capable of living out my purpose, that call that's on my life? And so just a few facts that I found that I thought were so interesting about your purpose. Only about 6% of women think that they know what their purpose is. 94% of people have no clue what their purpose is, and only 1% of women really know what they truly desire. And I'm out to change this, because when you are able to identify and articulate what your purpose is and anchor it in, which we'll talk about in a minute, you will become a woman on fire. You will spread your wings and soar. And, if you've ever, I say this to women sometimes, have you ever seen a caterpillar? Sorry, have you ever seen a butterfly flying around carrying a caterpillar? And you haven't, because that's not what butterflies do. And so, you are called to rise, but not everyone says yes to the rise. And so I want to support you as you rise, because it is scary to show up powerfully. It is scary to really step into your purpose. And it is scary to be intentional instead of just, blaming, well, I don't have time. I don't have the money. So-and-so might, might not agree, or, what if somebody doesn't get it? What if people don't like me when I start living with purpose? And so that's all of those thoughts were the thoughts that I was swirling in. And so here's what I've learned. I wanted to give you 3 things that you can take away today. And if you take away these 3 things, you are going to be able to unleash your purpose and make your mark on the world, which is where you will feel the most fulfilled. You will feel the most significant that you've ever felt in your life, and you will feel so joyful, and you won't be worrying about looking to other people to validate you or give you permission. And so the first step is, this is what I've learned, is that I've learned how to use your purpose, your personality, and your past, bring all of it together to really step into your next level of impact, unlock wealth. I'm telling you, there is wealth that is dripping over you. But when we are stuck in fear, we are rejecting what is trying to come to us. Now, I've seen this happens all the time. And so it is real, but this is where you're able to make up for lost time. And then I've learned that when you live in hot pursuit of your purpose, it is the single most effective way to step into your full power and do the things that scare you, right? Because I always say that spirit-led women, or a woman who is living on purpose, she rarely follows conventional wisdom. So you have to have the confidence to trust yourself to make those decisions that everybody else might not agree with. And the third thing is that when you reinvent yourself as the most powerful version of who you were created to be, you fulfill your purpose. That's where you're able to bring real value to the world. And guess what? You can even get paid doing it. And so you don't have to get paid doing it. But whether you get paid for it or not, you will feel so much different. And believe me when I tell you, this will impact your children and your children's children. So just to dive a little bit deeper into the first tool, how to use your purpose, your personality, and your past to step into your next level of impact. There's a story in my book that I talk about. I don't know if you've ever read the story of Queen Esther in the Bible. If you haven't, it's a really cool story. But Esther was an orphan girl, and she got chosen to potentially become the queen. and of this kingdom. And so once the girls, there was a bunch of girls chosen, and once they were chosen, they were taken, and for 1 year they were prepared, inwardly, outwardly, they got a makeover, okay, an intense makeover. And so here was Esther. She was this orphan girl, and she, out of all the girls that were chosen and prepared, she actually got chosen to be the next queen. And she had an uncle who would sit at the city gates and would kind of guide her. Here's the thing is that Esther was a Jewish woman. But if the king would have found out she was Jewish, she could have potentially lost her life. And so she was in the kingdom. She was wearing a crown, wearing the royal garb, and she was hiding her identity. Can somebody wave at me and say, amen? Yes, I was, this is how I felt. And so, but she went through this identity makeover, and her uncle said to her one day, he said, listen, I just found out that all the Jewish people are going to be killed. And he said, you need to use your position for such a time as this. And so she was so scared, but ultimately she said yes. And she threw a banquet for the king to butter him up. And so the king had already told her, I love you so much, you can have anything you want. But instead of asking for what she wanted, she got down on the ground and she threw a fit. She was using her emotions to manipulate. And so I know none of you have ever done that before. I'm sure no one in this room has ever used their emotions to try and get what they want. Because you're all, yeah, Cindy, don't tell anybody. This is what we do as women. If you don't ask for what you want, if you don't speak up, then you just get what you get, number one. But then also, you don't speak. When you don't speak up, then you don't get what you want. And so the king, here she is, you've got to picture this. She's a queen at this point. And he's already told her you can have anything she wants. She's going to ask for the release of her people. She has to come clean about who she is, but she's on the ground. She's throwing a fit. And he extends the golden scepter, the king does, and he says, get up and go write it the way you want it to look. And that's what I want to tell you the first thing today. I want you to walk away with this. Go write it the way you want it to look. You have permission to write the next chapter of your life the way you want it to look, bringing all of your personality, all of your past, all of your purpose, everything. You have permission to go write it the way you want it to look, even if it's not what everybody told you it should look like. So, sorry, I'm getting a little preachy here. I get excited about this stuff, but it really is, it is so powerful when you decide to ask for what you want, to write it the way you want it to look, even if it doesn't look what everybody thinks it should look like. So there's a few myths when it comes to your purpose. And number one, your purpose is not what you do. Your purpose is who you are at your core. It's your why. It's what drives you. And most women believe that their purpose is what they do. Your purpose doesn't have to be extravagant to be powerful. Most women who, when we work together and they actually script their purpose statement, they're surprised at how simple it is and how it's what they've been doing all along. And this is so powerful because it takes all the pressure off. And then you don't have to wait until you have more time to live with purpose. Once you know what your purpose is, you begin to be more intentional. And things, again, this is just what you begin to do naturally. So in coaching, I take women through a powerful exercise called Be, Do, Have. And so Most times we are living do, have, be, or have, do, be. So in other words, we wait until we have something to do something, and then we will be something. But you're not a human having, so you don't have to wait till you have more time to live with more purpose and to be a woman of impact. You are a woman of impact right now. You are a butterfly. That's who you were created to be. And if you, as you begin to decide who you are at your core, instead of letting your past define you, instead of letting other people's opinions define you, all the things, you define you, you decide this is who I am, you show up as a powerful chooser, then what you do begins to flow out of who you are. And this is what takes all the pressure off, because now you're no longer doing things to prove who you are. You're doing things as a result of who you are at your core. Corey is one of my butterflies. She said she was doing big things. She was doing good things, constantly volunteering, teaching, Bible study, all the things. But she just still felt lost. And so discovering her purpose is what really made the difference for her. And she is on fire, this woman. It's incredible. I'm moving kind of fast, so I'm going to get through these, and then I will open the floor for questions and we'll have some discussion. The second thing I learned, though, is that living in hot pursuit of your purpose is the single most effective way to step into your full power, just like Amelia Earhart. So you may have heard who Amelia Earhart is. She was the first woman to cross the transatlantic flying solo in the 1920s. And so when she did this, now this was a man's world, okay? It was in a man's world, and she did something no woman had ever done before. And they said, Amelia, how did you do this? And she said, well, I did know what I was doing, but she said it was my confidence that allowed me to get this done. And so they said, well, what does confidence mean to you? And she said, write this down. I want every one of you to write this down, because this is going to be a game changer right here. Amelia Earhart said, confidence is the willingness to go after her impossible and the belief in herself that she could make it happen. So in most cases, as women, we are waiting for confidence until we step forward. But confidence does not have, it doesn't come as a result of waiting. Confidence comes as a result of pursuit. So as you take the first step and you step into, Indiana Jones, when he was going to cross that big cavern, like there was no bridge there, and he took the first step and it appeared. And that's how we have to show up as women. You can't wait for confidence to move forward. If you do, you're going to be stuck waiting for a very long time. And so you have everything that you need inside of you. Again, most women assume that confidence is what they do. It's outside of them. Confidence is inside of you. There's actually a Bible verse that says that you have everything that you need inside of you that pertains to what one version says, a dynamic spiritual life. In other words, you lack nothing. You don't lack time. You don't lack finances. You don't lack confidence. You don't lack purpose. You don't lack anything, nothing. Everything is inside of you. And I hope you let that sit down inside of you today. Michelangelo, when he sculpted the bust of David, they said, oh my gosh, how did you get him? How did you sculpt such a beautiful likeness of him? And he said, well, I didn't. He said, he was already in the stone. I just let him out. And I have to tell you that the butterfly, your butterfly, is inside of you. It's just time to let her quit resisting, letting her out and showing up in the fullness of your brilliance. And so, sorry, again, I get a little excited about this, but I hope that you are feeling the love. I hope that you are feeling fueled and inspired. to walk away different today. So living in hot pursuit of your purpose, it is the missing piece of the puzzle to feel a new level of fulfillment that you've never felt before. So there she is, good old Amelia Earhart. Vernita's on the call today. Vernita is one of my butterflies, and she said mine was literally blown when we worked together. And Vernita, I love telling the story about Vernita because Vernita was in her 60s when she got started. And she lost 25 pounds. She got off medications. And not only that, but then she went and she wrote a book. I helped her write her book. I helped her become a life coach. And she is now speaking and impacting women all over the nation. And it is incredible. And so she did not use the excuse of, well, maybe it's too late for me. Vernita is an incredible woman, and she just makes my heart go pitter patter when I think about her and the way I have watched her rise. It has been amazing. So Vernita, I think you're on here. If I can't see you, but I love you, and I just so appreciate you and your commitment to rise.
I love you too, and thank you.
The third thing that I learned is that when you reinvent yourself, you are able to fulfill your purpose. This is when you bring massive value to the world. This is when you bring your brilliance to the world, just like the butterfly. And so some of you have probably heard this story again, but I'm going to say it again. But when that, I told you that the caterpillar does not turn into the butterfly. The DNA of the butterfly is trapped inside the caterpillar. But when the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, enzymes are released that liquefy her into nothingness. And she has to let go of who she was so that she can become who she was really created to be. But the whole time she's in the cocoon, she cannot excrete. You heard me right. She is swimming in her own crap. Sorry. She's swimming in her own stuff. And that's what happens to us as women. We can be swimming in our own fears, failures, and imperfections, and that stops us from really transforming and becoming who we were created to be. And so, but something incredible happens as she endures the process. She begins to feel the urge to break out of the cocoon. And this is where you might be today. You might be ready to break out of the cocoon, or you've already started breaking out. You've committed to showing up fearlessly and making a bigger impact. But as she breaks out of the cocoon, all of that excretion that she was in the cocoon with, literally, as she flaps her wings, gets infused back up into her body and into her wings and hardens. All of the crap that you've been through is what's meant to give your wings the strength to fly. And so as you discover your purpose, there's 5 steps to really fulfilling your purpose. First, you have to access this, because remember, it's inside of you. And that's what I help you do. I help you access it and then articulate it, put it in a statement form, and then anchor it in your heart, and then align with it. And then you begin to amplify it by living it out every day and being intentional about it. Again, Sylvia is one of my butterflies, and she was a very confident young woman, but life came along and knocked the confidence out of her. And I don't know about you, but you may have experienced something similar. But in going through the process with me of identifying her values and her purpose, that's what really began to turn things around for her. So I want to take you through an exercise today. If you'll get out some pen and paper, this is so amazing. And I want you to really see, I want you to have real clarity as you walk away today. And so what I want you to do is I want you to draw a circle. And so that circle, you're going to make it look like a pie. Okay, so you're going to give 8 pieces to the circle. And what you're going to do is we're going to go into each piece of pie, if you will. And I want you to give yourself a score from 0 to 10, 10 being, we're gonna identify your well-being score. So 0 being like, it's non-existent, it's not there, it's just, there's no well-being there. Okay. 5 is, I feel pretty good about where things are. And 10 is like, I am living on fire, like I'm living my purpose and I'm soaring and all that. Okay. So that's like, yes, all the way. So what I want you to do is just give yourself a number, pick a number. We'll start here. Pick a number that really identifies where you are emotionally, your emotional well-being. Now, you don't have to tell me your numbers. Nobody's going to see. This is for you. What level is your emotional well-being? How happy are you with your emotional well-being? Anywhere from a 0 to 10. Okay. How happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I want you to rate your financial well-being. And then the next piece of pie on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rate your mental well-being. Okay. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rate the well-being of your mission, vision, and purpose. How clear are you about your mission, your vision, and your purpose? And I want you to give yourself a score there. The next one is confidence. Where are you at and your confidence on a scale of 1 to 10? Give yourself a number. Now, let me just say, when you're doing this, I don't want you to, there's no judgment. This is not about judgment. This is about getting really clear and really just reality and looking at where am I? Because it's easy to, sometimes I say, as women, like we say the F word, excuse me for saying that, but we say, I'm fine. And we walk around saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. But there are areas where we have an opportunity to be more than fine, because fine is not good enough. When you settle for fine, that's when fine is not fulfilling. Fine is not the most effective that you can be. So we're looking at here, this is no judgment, not even on yourself. Like just look at how do you really feel? Put the first number that comes to your mind. The well-being of your relationships is the next piece of pie on a scale of 1 to 10. Now you might want to divide this up, your marriage, your significant other, maybe a separate one for your kids, your friendships. You can divide this up if you want and give them each a separate score. And then the next one is your physical well-being. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your physical well-being? And then lastly, your spiritual well-being. How satisfied are you with the well-being of your spiritual life? So, okay. I am going to stop my share just for a minute. Is there anyone, now you do not have to share your scores, but can somebody tell me, I want you to look at your numbers, and then somebody just unmute yourself and tell me, what is your takeaway from this exercise?
On the average, it seems that like most of the numbers are around the same.
Okay.
Because it seems like they all somehow reflect each other.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because the way we say it like this, that in coaching, the way that you show up in the world is the way that you are. And the great thing about that is that when you start working on one area, when you identify the mindsets that are keeping you stuck at a certain number in one area, it will impact all the other areas. It's really powerful. So it's bringing those numbers up is a lot easier than you might have thought. Somebody else.
Okay, this is Jackie. That would be my takeaway, is that I'm not a 10 in any area or a 9. So it lets me know that there's room for improvement in all of the areas.
Awesome. Good. And that's good to know. It's just good to see where you're at, right? So we're not running around saying, oh, I'm fine, I'm great. And we get to see where we want to move things up to a 10. Somebody else.
I just noticed that although most of them are in the same range, there's times where those numbers dip and it's like it's a flat tire if you connect them all. So that's like my dent. That's maybe why things are harder.
Yeah. Yes. Did anybody have some that were like close to that 8 or 9 or higher, and then some that were lower, kind of like real jagged? Did anybody have one like that? Okay. And so here's the thing is this is called the wheel of life. And so when you are operating, like a lot of things can be going great, but you've got a couple, maybe like dents, it's a flat tire and you can't move as fast and you can't be as effective as you were if you had all the pistons firing at the same level. Anybody else? Did any of your numbers surprise you? No? Okay, Connie, you said no. You kind of had a feeling? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yes, I kind of had a feeling, and somebody said that her numbers were all that high. I can go ahead and say the same thing on the opposite end. I had some 8s and maybe even 1 9, but the majority, like, it's just such a mediocre life, So is that's where the feeling of being stuck comes from, I guess. So, but yes.
Yeah, no, thank you for saying that. And, if you walk away with anything today, I just want you to know that you are not called to stay average. You're not called to stay mediocre. You're not called to, there are big things that are waiting for you. There is a new season. If you're on here today, there is a new season that is waiting for you. I know that with everything that's within me. And so there's just some, maybe some ways that you can be more intentional, that you can get things all moving in the same direction so that you can really step into the next season of your life and make that your best season. Yeah, Vernita, yes, receive that. Yes, year of freedom. I really do believe that. If you're here today, I really do believe that there is so much more waiting for you. There is something big that you're being called to. So there are just a few things that are absolutely necessary. I'm going to go back to my screen here. There are a few things that are absolutely necessary for you as you walk away. And that is number one, get clarity about who you are, why you're here, and how you want to show up in the world as you step into this next season of your life. Because I want you to know that your past cannot define you. Other people's opinions cannot define you. And not even your own opinions of yourself cannot define you. Once you begin to really define who you are at your core, you get to say, you get to decide, this is who I am and this is how I'm going to show up in the world in this next season of my life. And then whatever you do, decide to take fast, imperfect action without waiting for approval, permission, or validation. And I find that this is, if you'll walk away with this, see, as you begin to validate yourself, I always say we teach people how to treat us by the way we treat ourselves. So if you're not being validated, it's not because other people are not validating you. It's because you're not validating yourself. And when you validate yourself, other people will line up. And so this comes down to how we feel about ourselves and how well we take care of ourselves. And the last thing that is absolutely necessary for you to step into the best season of your life is to make sure that you have accountability, because information alone will not cause transformation. So if you've been reading all the latest books, if you've been watching all the latest YouTube videos, it will work for a while, and you'll get good information. But I want to help you transform, to literally go through a transformation. Most women that I work with, people are like, what in the world have you done? Did you get your hair done? I don't know what you've done. Their whole being changes. And so what are some of your biggest takeaways from today?
First of all, trying to write down, identify what I think my purpose is, and the profound statement that I wrote, what you said, your purpose is not what you do, because I've been doing the same thing for 40 years. I just retired after 41 years of working. So that's the thing that I know best. It is who you are at the core. So that's where I'm going to focus my attention.
Awesome. I love it. That is awesome. So glad you're taking that away. Who else? Biggest takeaways?
I would say the idea that confidence is in you, but you have to go after it. The hot pursuit idea really resonated with me.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, because so many times we're like, oh, I want to do this, but I need confidence to do that, right? So then we wait on the confidence, and the confidence never comes. But once you start pursuing it, the confidence is unleashed out of you. And that it's then when you've got the confidence, look out, world, look out. One more biggest takeaway from today.
Well, I've heard you say lots of times about the DNA of the butterfly is trapped in the caterpillar, and she has to let go of who she was. And so You have to let go. I know it sounds simple, but it's like it dawned on me. Like I have to let go of who I was in the past and create this new person that I know has been inside me all along. And then it's been that person, that new person inside me has been longing to come out. But
Yes.
comfort zone or fear of going into that new person
Mhm.
is what you have to let go of that as well.
Yes, I love that.
Creating,
Thank you.
creating the new mindset to be able to walk into that new person.
Mhm. Yeah. Here's what I'm going to say to you, that who you are right now is amazing. Okay. But who your next level, who you are now cannot sustain your next level. Just as much as a caterpillar cannot fly. There is a shedding of the old identity, and the old identity is not bad. It's just, it's who you've become. Eli Wild, he has a quote, and he says, who you are is who you've become, but who you've become is learned. So who you've become is a reaction to conditioning, to your past, to people's opinions, who you should be. There is a version of you that is a world changer and impactor that is soaring. But there's things that we have to shed, that old version, mindsets, patterns, emotions, taking things personally, not feeling powerful in our own skin. And there's mindsets and patterns that we have to shift in order to step into this new season of our life and to be able to sustain it. And so, very quickly, I just want to let you know, I hope that you have walked away with something so powerful and that your life has changed because of today. But I want to just let you know, if you want to continue working together, I am opening the doors next week to the Rise Academy, and that's where I help you do everything that we just talked about. And so I do just want to quickly share that with you. The Rise Academy is, it's a profound 12-week coaching experience for women who are really ready to reinvent themselves from the inside out so that they can fulfill their purpose and step into their calling. This works really good for busy women, but again, that chronic busyness has delayed your dreams and you want to make the rest of your life count in a bigger way. If you felt an urgency to make up for lost time, you may have been in transition. You may have even been haunted by your past, and you really, your past has been keeping you hidden, but you're over that. You're so done with that. If you're, you just serve your family, your community. Oh my goodness, I'm going backwards. Let me get back to my screen. But you're really ready to step into for such a time as this and break out of your cocoon. You're really ready to do the inner work of breaking out of your cocoon and just letting your wings do what they're supposed to do. That's what who this 12 weeks is for. The first thing we work together for 12 weeks. And I want to just tell you, here's why we work for 12 weeks, because it takes 30 days to create a new habit, but it takes 90 days to literally rewire your brain. And so after 12 weeks, all the ways that you sabotage yourself, the old self-limiting beliefs, all the ways that you stop yourself from really stepping into that brilliance, you've created a real shift in your life, and you're no longer, you don't go back, because you not only have you created new habits, but you've literally rewired your brain. And so the first thing we work on is your purpose, and you script a mission statement, vision statement, purpose statement, so that you can get super intentional about what you're doing. The next thing that we do is that we work on the narrative that you tell yourself. And you get so that you can rewrite your chapter as the leading lady of your own story and not just a supporting actor anymore. But what we do with the mindset piece is that we go in and we really identify, like, what are those old thoughts, patterns, and emotions that keep you stuck where you're at, and we turn them around. And you it's kind of like, I call it, we clear the foundation, because if you try and build your new identity on an old foundation, it could, again, you could sabotage it. But we go and we clear the foundation, get rid of all the old mindsets, thoughts, and patterns, old conditioning, and so that you build on a real firm foundation. And this is really powerful. And ultimately what you begin to do, Tony Robbins says, it's not what we go through that causes our suffering. It's the story that we tell ourselves about what happened. So we go in and you begin to tell yourself a new narrative. This is super powerful. And then the third thing we do in that 12 weeks is you literally go through an identity makeover. You identify your intrinsic core values, your passion. You write a passion statement, potential statement, mission statement, vision statement, purpose statement. And if you have a business, your mission and vision statement for your business come out of who you are at your core. And this is where your ideal client is a version of who you were in your past. And so when you identify that, when you begin to identify, you know who you are, but then you know who you were, you'll actually call out your ideal client a lot faster and a lot easier. And if you own a business, it's very powerful because your mission and vision are an extension of who you are at your core. So this impacts your business. So I'm going to leave this screen up here. If you want to know more, scan this. You can just schedule a clarity call. I'm not asking for your credit card today. I would love to get on the phone with you and talk more about how I can help you really just identify and anchor in your purpose so that you can break out of the cocoon and step into the rise. I do have, let's see if I've got, there are, no, I didn't put them in here, but if you schedule your call within 24 hours, I would really love to at least get your call scheduled in 24 hours from now. Then I have some really amazing bonuses. One of those is a course that I did. It's called Highly Esteemed. It's a self-esteem enhancement. And a lot of women think that self-esteem is, it's like only if you're broken, you need to work on your self-esteem, but your self-esteem is your self-belief. And so this is a do-it-yourself course. It's so powerful, but you really enhance your self-belief, which is where then that impacts your confidence. And then you also get access to the Ultimate Confidence course. And again, it's just a do-it-yourself course. It's a bonus. This is not part of the 12 weeks. But you learn the secret thoughts of a confident woman, and you begin to think like a confident woman. So those are some bonuses. I also, this is brand new, hot off the press. I'm having a conference the last weekend of September. It's called Roar and Soar. It's a platform for women's voices. And you'll also get a free ticket if you sign up for the Rise Academy. It will come with a free ticket for the event, which is going to be amazing. I've got some incredible people coming in, and it is going to be really excited about it. So get your call scheduled if you want to know more, if you have questions. I will tell you the price right now so that you know what it is. It is normally $2,400 for the 12 weeks. But again, if you schedule your call in the next 24 hours, then I am giving this today for $18.50. So I do have a payment plan. It's a little bit more. If you're interested in hearing about that, you can let me know. But if you want to just pay in full, put it on a credit card, it's $18.50. And so this is changing women's lives, and women are rising up and soaring. And I want you to soar as well. So thank you for being on with me today. What questions do you have?
I would like to know a little bit more on how to connect or marry or put together my purpose with my business, and how I can build wealth and create a source of income out of my purpose.
Yes.
So we can learn that a little bit later. That'd be awesome.
I will. Yes, we will absolutely. We can dive into that, and we can talk about your business, and I will help you connect those dots, because when you operate from your core identity and you live with an extreme clarity about your purpose, you can just be, and it takes the weight of the world off your shoulders, and it's really powerful. So I do want to mention that the program is a group program. So there's usually like 3 to 4 ladies that are on. I've already got a couple spots filled. But if this is something you'd like to hear more about and do privately, then I do have a couple spots open for some private. We go through the same exact process, but we would just do it privately. If you're busy, or if you want to do that privately, we can talk about that as well. What other questions do you have for me?
Angela, does RISE, is that an acronym? What does it stand for?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes. So RISE stands for women who, when you are living in the RISE, you step into the RISE, you are resilient about your past. You are intentional about your future. You are spirit-led in your endeavors, and you are empowered to impact the world as a world changer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's what happens when you go through the RISE Academy. You become a woman on the RISE. What else?
So-
I'm going to stick around and answer your questions. Yes, Bernice says, yes, you do. She is a woman on the RISE. What other questions do you have for me? What's your biggest roadblock to stepping into the RISE right now?
One more question, please.
Yes.
That it may be 3 to 4, 3 to 5 ladies. Do you have a designated time right now, a day of the week, or a time for meeting?
Yes, I do. That's a great question. Right now, we are scheduled to meet on Wednesdays from 11 to 12 on Zoom.
In the daytime, Wednesday?
In the daytime, 11 a.m. Yeah, Central Standard Time. Yes. And that's why if that time doesn't work for you, I also offer the private as well. But there is homework involved. You do have, when you sign up, you get access to a portal filled with 12 weeks of homework. And that's where the bonuses are located also in that portal. I didn't mention there's also a money mindset bonus where you are working on your money mindset and what are the mindsets that are blocking you financially. So that is also in there. Excuse me. But right now we're set for Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I was telling you, you have homework every week to do. but it is not turned in, so it's not graded homework, so don't worry. These are just really, really powerful journal prompts. And what it does, because remember that coaching comes from the perspective, coaching is not counseling, it's not therapy. Coaching comes from the perspective that the answers are inside of you. And so what the homework does, it digs out what's inside of you already. And my process works. And so that's why the homework is important. If you are not in a season of life where you can do the homework, then this is not a good time for you right now. But if you will take the time, you can journal, if you take like 15 minutes, 3 times a week, maybe before you go to bed or get up a few minutes earlier, if you've got time, this is where the deep, deep work is going to be done. It's not a lot of time, but it gives you really, if you journal, if you like to have quiet time, it gives you the framework to do those things already. And so the clarity call, it does not have to happen within 24 hours, but at least just get it scheduled by within 24 hours. So it can be scheduled for next week or whatever, as long as it's just before next Wednesday would be great. So that way, if you want to jump in, we can get started. So, okay, one more thing I need to tell you, just details that what we do when you sign up, we start off with a one-on-one call. This is a deep dive. So you sign up for the program. I send you the portal. I give you your first assignment. You do your homework. And then our first session is, thank you, Eunice. Our first session is one-on-one. And this is where you really cement that deep work. And then from there, there are 10 more weeks of Zoom calls. And then our last call we will do together one-on-one as well. So it's kind of a hybrid of group coaching and one-on-one in this. So you get kind of bookends of where we meet one-on-one. Good. Anybody? That was a great question about the clarity call. Anybody else? Okay, well, I so appreciate you being on here. I hope that you took something away from today. I hope that you feel filled up and fueled and ready to go live with purpose. Let's see here. Let's see if we got one more question. Okay, that's it. Awesome. Okay, if we're not connected, I did not put how to get connected to me, but let's stay connected. If you want me to reach out to you, put your information in the chat and we can at least get connected on Facebook if we're not already. So, okay, girls. All right. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.